Good morning everyone. Today let us see what is a concept map. Concept map is a pedagogic tool and this tool is very suitable for science teaching. Now let us see the concept map with a simple example, that is a dog. If I talk about a dog, what all things are coming into your mind? What are they? The dog has a tail, it has wet nose, it has four legs, it is coming under the group mammal, and there are many varieties of dog or many breeds, and they are very affectionate pet animal, and at the same time it can be a source for some infectious diseases. All these things immediately come into your mind. So if you draw a concept map of dog, you can draw like this. Here the informations or ideas we are writing inside a box. This box can be a shape of a circle, oval, triangle or rectangle. Like this, you can make the concept map of many important topics in your syllabus. And it is very easy to understand. If we are writing all this information in a paragraph and we are reading it out, it is not easy to grasp the points very fast. Instead of writing all this information as a paragraph, if we draw a concept map, it is easier to understand. So the concept map is very useful. How can we define a concept map? It is a visual representation of one's knowledge on a particular topic, and it illustrates patterns and relationship among various concepts. A concept map typically represents ideas and information, and these ideas or information we are writing inside a box or circle, and we can connect this information with arrows. In this picture, it is a concept map of ecosystem. You can see rectangular boxes, and inside the rectangular boxes you can see information about ecosystem, and these rectangular boxes are connected with arrows. And then you all know that there are two important factors in an ecosystem, that is abiotic factor and biotic factor. In this picture, the pink colored boxes represent abiotic factors and yellow colored boxes represent biotic factors, and then these arrows shows how these factors are interconnected, how the small factors inside each factor is interconnected. And here down you can see three violet colored boxes. It is written that video 1, 2 and 3. With the help of these videos, we can further explain the concept of ecosystem. What is concept map actually? It is a non-linear web-like representation in that main topic is connected to secondary subtopics, and these secondary subtopics are again connected to tertiary subtopics. The main topics and subtopics are then connected by linking verbs that describe the relationship between the two. Look at this picture. It is a concept map of ecosystem. Here you know that ecosystem is the main concept here, and then that is the primary concept. And here biotic and abiotic factors are the secondary concept. And under biotic factors we can see animals, plants and other microorganisms. All these are the tertiary concept under biotic factors. And what are the tertiary concept under abiotic factors? Soil, water, air. And primary, secondary and tertiary concepts are connected with arrows. Next, let us see what are different kinds of concept map. That is spider concept map, hierarchy concept map, flowchart concept map and system concept map. We will see with the pictorial representation. This is the spider concept map. Here the main concept is at the center and the subtopics are at the periphery of the main topic. Another type of spider concept mapping in that on the left side we can see the main concept and on the right hand side periphery we can see the sub concepts. Next is the hierarchy concept map. Here we are arranging the concept in a hierarchical order. The primary concept at the top, secondary concept just below that, and tertiary concept just below the secondary concept. That way we can see different layers in the hierarchical order of different concept. This is an example for hierarchy concept mapping. Here you can see the flowchart concept mapping. It is the linear model. Here we are arranging all the information or concepts in a linear order. This one is a system concept mapping. Here you can see input and output. Input and outputs are related with each other, and here we can see the arrows from input to output. This is the diagrammatic representation of system concept mapping. Now let us see how can we construct a concept map. We have to identify the major concept, that is the seed in the concept map. That is the important thing in the concept map. Then arrange the concept on a paper based on the hierarchy, that is from general to specific. Then link the concept including the linking phrases. Now let us see what is the next step. Here we have to make the cross links in the form of arrows between two concepts in different vertical segment of the map. To understand the relationship between the sub concept, we are drawing the arrows and we are writing nouns, adjectives or symbol words. Now let us see what are the different stages in the construction of concept map. First one is brainstorming stage. Here we are thinking or recalling our previous knowledge about that, and the organizing stage is the second stage, then the layout stage, linking stage, revising stage, and at last the finalizing stage. Now let us see each stage in detail. First we will see the brainstorming stage, that is the first stage of concept mapping. Here we list all the terms and concept associated with the main topic of interest, write them down in one word or phrases, and then here we should try to generate the largest possible list of all the knowledge about that particular concept. Here we don't have to worry about the repeatancy or redundancy of what we are writing, but we are writing the possible largest list here. Now the next stage is organizing stage. Here we spread the concept on a blackboard or on a chart paper so that all of them can be read easily. Create groups and subgroups of related item. Group item to emphasize the hierarchies. Identify terms that represent higher categories and rearrange item and introduce new items and omitted initially. Next, let us see the third stage, that is layout stage. Here we are doing grouping and subgrouping. Here whatever knowledge we know, we already marked in the chart paper or on the blackboard, we are grouping it into different subgroups based on how they are related closely. Like closely related knowledge or information we are grouping together and connect the item in the form of simple sentence that shows the relationship between them. Now let us see next stage, that is linking stage. Here we are using lines and arrows to connect the items. Write a word or short phrases for each arrow to specify the relationship. Many arrows can originate or terminate on important concept. Here we can from one concept we can make many arrows, or we can maybe reduce the number of arrows based on our requirements. Then Now let us go to the fourth stage, that is revising stage. Here we are revising whatever we have written already. Carefully examine the draft concept map, rearrange concept to emphasize organization and appearance, remove or combine item to simplify, consider adding color or different font, and in which way we can beautify our concept map, and at the same time how we can make it more informative. That is this revising stage. Here we are removing whatever unwanted things are included in the concept map, and we again add whatever important things we missed out. Now let us go to finalizing stage. Here we finalize the arrangement of items that convey better understanding. Be creative by using colors, font and shape. We are using different colors, maybe we are using different shapes like rectangle, triangle, circle, etc. Now we will see how we can evaluate a concept mapping. The accuracy and thoroughness. Are the concepts and relations are correct? Are the important concepts missing? Are any misconceptions are there in the concept map? Then how we did the organizing, that is, does the map shows hierarchy? Does it have a title? All these are coming under the criteria of good concept mapping. What is the third step in the evaluation? That is appearance. Is it neat and orderly arranged? Crosslinks, and does the map shows meaningful connections? The creativity, does it effectively communicate the concepts, or that can stimulate further interest in the students or those who are using it? All these are also matters while evaluating a concept map. Next, let us see what are the educational benefits of a concept map. It is an instructional tool. We can use it as an instructional tool in the classroom. It is an assessment tool. After teaching a particular topic, we can ask the students to make a concept map on that topic and we can assess them. And it is a mind tool for critical thinking. We can think critically while making a concept map. A curriculum, organizing guide and teaching. It is a tool to promote meaningful learning. It generates ideas, brainstorming, etc. on a particular topic. It enhancing metacognition. What is metacognition? Metacognition is the way or how we study. We study that how we can study or how we can do learning on a particular topic. That learning is called metacognition. We have to learn how to learn. That is called metacognition. All these are the educational benefits of concept mapping. Then what are the advantages of concept mapping? It enhances the clarity of relationship, improve clarity of thought, assimilate more information, achieve deeper understanding and improve memorization. Here we can keep the knowledge more time in our mind because we are using both the senses. We are seeing with our eyes and at the same time we are hearing with our ears. Both the senses are actively participated in the process of understanding a concept map. Then what are the advantages of concept mapping? It improves coherence, or coherence in the sense the togetherness. We can see the close relationship of different sub-concept in a particular main concept. It influences the knowledge construction, it improves understanding, it improves learning, and it is easy to use and implement. It is very easy to use in the classroom, and at the same time we can assess the children after conducting a particular class with the help of a concept map. So it is very easy to implement. In short, we can say that concept map is a triangular tool. We can use concept map in three ways. In first one is for planning our lesson. Before taking a particular topic, we can ask the students to make a concept map on that topic in order to know their previous knowledge. Based on that, we can plan our lesson. Next one, we can use it as an instructional tool. While teaching a particular topic in the class, we can draw a concept map in the board and we can explain. And lastly, we can use it as an evaluation tool. After teaching a particular topic, we can ask the students to draw a concept map on that particular topic in order to check how much they learned or how much they got from that particular class. So we can use it as an evaluation tool as well. This is all about concept mapping.